Want to go right now to Bill Cassidy, the Louisiana Republican senator, sits on the Energy and Natural Resources Committee. He has a great sense of humor himself. Senator, always good having you. You know, it's interesting, Senator, you know, we talk about history and could we ever do what we're witnessing and absorbing 35 years ago today and see a fall off to that effect. I do remember how Ronald Reagan was president at the time. He didn't shrug his shoulders, but he did kind of shrug his shoulders and just sort of moved on and didn't get fixated on whipsawing in the markets, that he had faith in capitalism, and sure enough, that faith would be borne out. But events like that scare folks. Are you scared it could happen again?
Well, of course you're concerned, but if you recall that 87, there was a V-shaped recovery. And so, yes, there was a sell-off, but then it came right back. And that is more often the recovery. If you look at the stock market since 1929 and you put it in 20-year increments, taking into account the great financial crisis, Black October, et cetera, the average return over 20 years is about 8.5%. The highest being 10.5, the lowest being 5.5. But the point is that over time, the market's going to do well. I think Reagan's faith was well placed. History showed that. And I think going forward, such faith should be, again, well placed.
You know, there are a lot of companies that this is their earnings time, as you know, Senator. A lot of them are worried. They have a very tough time offering guidance because they just don't know how this inflation thing will go. And many consumer products companies, including Procter & Gamble, a host of others, are talking about the resilience of the consumer. But they're also cautioning about what the Federal Reserve does and how high interest rates go and how excessive it gets. Do you think that we're due for still more pain?
Yes, because we have a schizophrenic policy taking place with this administration. On the one hand, the Fed is clearly trying to tighten money supply. And on the other hand, the administration has pursued a set of expansionistic policies, whether it's the American Recovery Act, which should be the American Recession Plan, the Inflation Reduction Act, which raises inflation in the first 2 years, and then forgiving student loans. On the one hand, the Fed's pulling back, and the administration keeps pushing forward. Because the administration continues to flood out with government spending, I think it's going to force the Fed to raise rates more, and ultimately the Fed's going to win.
You know, Senator, as you know, the president is looking at tapping more oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. At its height, this thing had better than 700 million barrels of oil in it. I think it's down to around 400 million right now. You know, and it's been steadily going down. We got to replenish that, but the president is still releasing more oil from that. Do you think that's wise?
Yeah, the president is substituting the release of oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve for an actual energy policy. An energy policy that would have kept the United States and North America energy independent, our economy growing stronger, and instead now we have to beggar thy neighbor, going to Venezuela and to Saudis and others, asking them to produce more. Again, SPR release is a substitute for an actual energy policy. That's another indictment against this administration. Absent that, we now have higher utility bills and higher gasoline prices, and an American consumer who's hurting.
Real quickly, there is talk the president wants retribution from the Saudis here, and the talk is that he's going to cut off arms sales or limit them to the Saudis as a result. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I think that he's finding someone to blame beside himself. It's a pattern in this administration. When things go well, they take credit. When things go poorly, they blame others. We should not be dependent upon the Saudis as the president has made us dependent. We should be energy independent with all the jobs that entails. And again, this administration is looking for someone to blame. The buck stops with them.
We'll watch it closely. Senator, great seeing you again. Bill Cassidy,